Hey guys, welcome to Uninfluenced. I was putting mother effer in there, but some things have changed. So y'all, this motherfucker's cutting and shit. And
at least you threw a y'all in there.
Yeah, I did throw a y'all, didn't I?
Right off the bat. Which, for some people means, well, I'm not going to listen to you then.
Yeah, which I don't give a fuck. Yeah, if you don't like the word y'all. What's crazy is I was watching the Hodge twins. They probably say y'all more than we do.
More than you do.
More than I do, yeah, because you don't say it.
But I do once in a great fucking while. I'll catch myself slipping, saying y'all. Be like, motherfucker, you ain't from Texas.
Yeah.
Don't act like you're from Texas. You ain't from Texas.
Yeah, I mean, some people see y'all and ain't as uneducated, and I would just say it's a Southern slang thing, because you hear tons of educated people saying it. They're just usually from here, down south, and fuck that dude. I ain't gonna sit here for 30 minutes and explain the fucking English dictionary to this motherfucker.
You know, it's interesting in Iowa, pretty much nobody uses y'all, which I think a lot of people think that it's country bumpkin, which it kind of is, but it's different.
It's a different country.
And people use ain't, but almost nobody uses y'all.
Yeah, it's like children of the corn fucking country.
It's a little worse than that.
Yeah, I went to Iowa up for a funeral, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be cool up here. No.
I mean,
it's different, but it is cool. The scenery's cool.
No, I mean, I like it, but it's a good place to be from, and I do love to visit there. I could see living there, or at least having a place there and spending, part of the year there. The falls there, like I'd say from like right around now, mid-September, end of September, October, November, like that 2-month period in Iowa is fucking incredible, man. I mean, no different than like the upper East Coast or, pretty much all the Midwest. The fall, autumn time is, goddamn, it's nice.
Yeah, Montana, fall and shit up there is real nice. My show's fixing to come on, Yellowstone. Man, makes me want to go live up that way.
I still haven't watched that yet.
You gotta. I'm telling you, the way you are, you'll fuck around and binge it all the weekend. So you want to start on Friday, because the way you are, you'll watch all them bitches in a weekend. If America was the way Yellowstone is, there'd be a lot less bitches in America.
Probably be half the population too.
Oh, it'd be great. It'd be great. I mean, you can get someone like Kevin Costner to do a series.
Yeah.
Someone's a good ass writer.
No, I know it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and in the show, he don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
There's some hot bitches in there.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Is there like good sex scenes?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and they cuss. I mean, it's not like they're sitting over there,
Yeah. I mean, like American Horror Story sex scenes, or like...
I don't know. I haven't seen American Horror. I got to start watching that.
There's some raunchy shit in there that's pretty good, especially whatever the hotel season is. Lady Gaga is in it. And, I mean, some of it I'm sure is a body double, but some of it I don't think can be. Like, I mean, it shows her face. I mean, maybe it's fucking... superimposed or whatever. Rohan, what do you know about that?
Some CGI.
Yeah. Do you watch American Horror Story?
No, I haven't watched American Horror Story.
Then never mind. Never mind.
And shut your whore mouth.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, I guess, cat's out of the bag. Might as well introduce that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we did something different. We said we were going to make some changes, and we brought on this dude named Zohan. Now, that's not his real name, but that's what we're going to call him from now on.
Yep. Hi, guys. I'm Zohan from that Adam Sandler movie. I was named after him, actually. My parents were like, you know what? That's a cool motherfucker.
Yeah, because you're Israeli, right?
No, I'm Indian.
Yeah. No, you're Israeli, right?
Yes, I'm now Israeli.
Yeah. So I'm guessing you panned to your face, right?
I've cut to it a few times.
Okay.
I don't want to be on it too much because I haven't shaved and shit.
Yeah, we don't want you on it too much either.
Yeah, I agree.
But for those of y'all that don't know, he is Asian.
Yes.
Southwest Asian.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got in trouble for not having enough diversity on the channel. So we figured we just knock it all out in one scoop. So he's a transgender Asian.
Asian Israeli.
Yeah.
Who also cuts hair.
Yeah.
But he's a dog groomer. He cuts dogs' hair. So.
Yeah. We're not going to get into the nitty gritty of why we change things up. I don't think we did it for you guys. That's about as far as I want to go, making sure both shows have a different edge to them.
Hey, Matt, can you pull the mic closer to your mouth?
How's that?
Try one a little bit closer.
If I go any closer, bro, it's in my mouth.
He's going to be deep throating it here in a second.
Yeah.
You want him to gag on it then. Is that what you're into?
No, no. I'm.
How's that?
That sounds better. It's coming from Mike. Sounds the best. Mike sounds phenomenal.
Well, I think that's the radio voice
Yeah.
is what that is.
Just a deep, kind of sultry voice.
Yeah.
What
Awesome.
mic setting it? Which bank is this plugged into?
One.
One?
Yes, sir.
So this is on one.
Yeah. So this is
You
on,
may have to turn the volume up on the inside. You know, in the
possibly.
settings?
It's all the way up. It's at 55.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me check audio level. Yeah, you're at 55 with
Okay.
phantom power, which is like part of the reason why I might just actually tone this down and then boost your actual mic up. Say something.
Something.
There we go.
Something else.
Yeah, something else.
Something more.
Yeah. You want me to keep talking? That's what you said earlier. Keep talking.
Just keep talking.
Just keep talking.
If we're going to keep this here, you should probably drain it, right? I mean, how long?
I wouldn't take the oils out of it. Fuel is good for about a year and a half. And if I remember right, it's pretty low on fuel.
Fuck, I don't even know.
So before we were to start it again, I would bring a gas can up and like fill it and let it cycle a few times to flush through. Or we just take it out and go ride it.
I mean, to me, I kind of want to ride it, but I don't want to drag it in and out of here,
Yeah.
or just fucking sell it. But
I think we should pull it straight in, so when we have guests, they have to sit on
they
it.
have to sell it. Fucking mic coming off the handlebar.
I could engineer some shit to where
That's
that could
fucking
happen
awesome.
too.
That would be some funny shit.
I need to learn how to ride a motorcycle.
Oh my God, you don't know how to ride? Look at me talking shit. Started riding when I was 42.
It don't matter.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
You do need to learn how to ride, but I think
yeah.
to me, what I'd love to see you show up on is are we recording now?
No.
Yes, sir, we are.
Well,
We've
either
been
way.
recording.
Yeah, either way. Put it in, leave it out, whatever. I think to me, getting some B-roll of us pulling in on whatever the fuck we came to the show in is cool. Mm-hmm. But then there's got to be like a lime green. No, not even lime, like a pistachio green or mint chip green fucking Vespa with a matching helmet that you come rolling in on. 2 feet on the fucking, I mean, because that's how you're going to learn. You know how to ride a bike, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same, honestly. Like, if you can ride a bike, you can ride a motorcycle. It's just, do you know how to drive a manual?
Kind of, somewhat.
That means no.
Yeah.
You either do or you don't.
Yeah.
You don't kind of know how to stick shift. It's like
Does
fucking,
Forza Horizon 4 count?
Yeah, I was going to say, Need for Speed, man. I'm a shifting motherfucker with R1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Super Mario Kart doesn't count.
Yeah. You seen that new dude? There's some black dude on Instagram, and it looks like Vegas. He's driving through on a go-kart, and he fucking throws this stuffed shell at a fucking cop car. He's going, and they pull him over, and he's bribing him, and he gives him some of them chocolate gold coins and bribes him, and the cop's like, yeah, and he walks off.
Fucking throwing banana peels out of the back.
Yeah, that shit's pretty
God,
awesome.
that's awesome. What were we talking about? I don't even remember what the fuck.
I don't even fucking know. Well, we were explaining that we got a Zohan, and
Yeah.
that was it. We diversified.
Yeah, long story short, there's a new sheriff in town.
Yeah.
Yep. I met these guys through Tyler Rippey. So shout out to him and Park Up Front. But
Yeah, shout the fuck out to.
Hey, you don't be saying brands until they send us a check. You could say Park Up Beat. Plus, what if we start a competitor company,
Yeah.
park in the rear,
Yeah.
and if the shit don't work out, it's a porn site.
Yeah, park down back is what
Yeah.
we'll call it.
Yeah. Yeah, drip down her back. That would be a good one.
Yogurt on her back.
Yeah.
You still doing that?
Yeah. Man, I told you I was cut off for 6 weeks, but I'm back in the saddle. Yeah, feels good. Feels good. So we're going to get into a little bit of different shit. Not totally different. Some of you guys asked us to talk a little more business. Of course we can. We're going to talk cars. Of course we're going to talk cars. Just a little bit of business stuff. So for all you people who were big on we all need to get raises. Minimum wage should be $15 an hour or $12.50 an hour. So the other day, I would say the grocery industry set up to where when you go to the store, you can feed a family of four 4 years ago, even 10 years ago, with hamburger helper and hamburger. I mean, it was that simple. You could feed a family of 4, sometimes 5, depending on size. And it was what, $4, $5 for everything? A 1 pound thing of ground beef right now in our area was $9.22.
And that wasn't like grass-fed, free-range fucking pistachio or almond finished.
No, the only thing that was good about it is it was lean 10% fat. This is the only difference. So now, and here's what's fucked up. So that was $10 pretty much. And we did have an eat hamburger helper. That was $5 now. So it's $15. Then it'll take you an hour now. Same as it did before.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be ate into because guess what didn't change? Well, your tax bracket actually changed. Yeah. So you're getting more taxes out with your $15 an hour. So now instead of being able to work an hour to feed your family that night, you now have to work an hour and a half to feed your family. But the beauty is if you go to the junk food, frozen food section, you can still get a lasagna family party size for $6.
Yeah.
So you're now more unhealthy if you feed your family affordably. Mm-hmm. But hey, everybody got their raise.
Yeah. There's a couple things with that. I mean, one, there's two separate things. I've heard this a lot from people that, eating healthy is too expensive. What I would say is yes, it is if you're fucking lazy.
Yeah.
That's a big if, is that there are cheap ways. I mean, there are almost free ways if you're willing to put the work in, i.e. growing a lot of your own shit, canning, etc. You can raise quite a bit, if you, from a horticulture standpoint or a permaculture standpoint, like you can maximize a little bit of land. You don't need fucking 30 acres of farmland to grow enough food to feed your family. I mean, you can do it in a small garden in your backyard if you do it right. Biggest thing is putting the time in. It's a pain in the ass. So that's first and foremost, is that yes, like if you're just going to the store and you've got, very limited fucking money, cash in your pocket to be able to go buy it from somewhere else, then yeah, it is harder. You can still maximize or utilize fucking resources like farmers markets and shit like that. Again, that's kind of a separate issue. Now, in terms of the rising costs of everything, there's two things at play in my perspective, which is, yes, the minimum wage hike. Minimum wage hike.
Everybody is mad.
Yeah, there is a minimum wage around here, by the way. The that hike in wages, of course, is going to get passed on, because I can tell you as a business owner, if the government comes to me and says, hey, you now have to double the salary of your employees or up it by whatever percentage, is that, I know what my cost of goods, equals at the end of every month to run my business, and my prices get adjusted accordingly to that. And that's the thing that, whether it's daylight saving time or anything else, is that there's a Native American adage that, talks about, only like in reference to daylight savings time of, and I think it's something to the effect of like only a white man thinks that they can cut the top, section of a blanket off and add it to the bottom and make the blanket longer. Mm-hmm. That's essentially what daylight savings time is. And I get there's harvest and school schedules and whatever. Fuck all of that. I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
But this is the same thing. Is that by saying, okay, hey, we're going to make employers pay their employees more, if you think that they're just going to be like, okay, yeah, we'll just do that then and not raise their prices or fire people or whatever, is that, they're still working within their budget. Unlike our fucking U.S. government that has its head buried up its ass to the point with which, like, they're not actually having to live within their means the way all the rest of us are. Mm-hmm. Yet they're the dipshits that are dictating stimulus packages and fucking minimum wage hikes, which both are detrimental in terms of inflation. At the end of the day, I would say it kind of doesn't matter in terms of, it's just a cat and mouse game, and that the more inflation goes up, the more prices go up, the more salaries go up. Like, it's just this like hand on top of hand on the fucking baseball bat game that our government plays with society, and it just makes the cost of everything go up, which is no different than if you think back, say 50, 60, 70 years ago, back to say the 1950s. Look at what the price of a gallon of gas a gallon of milk, a dozen eggs, whatever. It's all relative.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's just stupid is that, minimum wage hikes, stimulus packages, printing more money, like, yeah, it's a cool short-term fix for right fucking now, but it's akin to, hey, I can't afford these rims on this fucking bike, so I'm going to throw them on a credit card and I'll pay for it later. I mean, that's basically what we're doing. And I think the best visual representation, I think that exists for inflation and how it works, why it's a detriment. It's like having a really, really strong pitcher of Kool-Aid, and every time we throw a stimulus package or print more money, you're just dumping more water into the Kool-Aid, and you're just diluting it. And that's what's happening with the U.S. dollar, is that it just, day in, day out, year after year, and especially over the last, a couple of years of these huge stimulus packages, is that we've really watered down the U.S. dollar and what it'll get you. So it's fucking dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I can safely say me and you were alive when gas was $1, and it was like
it's less than $1.
I remember when it went to $2 at that point, and everybody's like, "What the fuck?" People are lining up at the cheap gas stations, to get gas, and people don't realize it costs us more money. And as a business owner, I'll lead into that a little bit, but I do want to come back to the government stuff on something me and you talked about the other day. It was totally off shelf, but I think it needs to be talked about. So as business owners, a lot of people see people like me and Mike, and I'm going to use us for example because I know my life, I know your life, I would say quite a bit. You see us and yeah, I have a nice car. I wouldn't say I have nice clothes, but I mean, I wear a nice watch. I have a nice house. But what y'all don't see, and what a lot of people don't see that walk up to us, and it must be nice, they don't see that still to this day, I still struggle, with business. And it's partly due to these, hikes. Materials go up. Guess what? My prices need to go up, but customers don't want to pay that, so they just stop calling. They let the shit set and go longer. So where I was making decent money last year, now it's gone down, I think it was 30% or something like that, what I texted you the other day. But people don't see that. They still see that must be nice. Well, we get accustomed to a way of living. Just like if you're rich, you're poor, middle class, you get accustomed to a certain way of life. And you start making these adjustments. And you literally go back from where you were doing good, say last year, 30% more. And you're now robbing Peter to pay Paul, what we've talked about a few times, to where you're like, shit, I'm doing good. Next week's going to be a better week. But I got bills to pay now, so I'm going to take my personal card and I'm going to pay on the business shit. Then I'll pay it back with the business. And that's what people don't realize. You can be 5-10 years into a business and go backwards.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy, and it's stuff like these, wage hikes, material costs, fuel costs, cars going up, cost to repair a vehicle going up. All this shit plays into where you were doing well last year. Well, you can't up your prices to some stuff. Yeah. So guess what? You're not doing well anymore, and you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. A lot of people don't see that. So you new people wanting to get into business, a lot of you hear the 3 to 5 year mark. If you can make it past 3 to 5 years, you're good. I can tell you right now, at year 6, somebody can walk up and kick you straight in the dick, and you're back to what feels like year 1.
Yeah.
While you do have, I would say, nicer shit, you still got to pay for that nicer shit, or you got to be like, well, you can have it all back. I was just kidding. Then you're on a 7-year struggle to fix your credit, fix your business credit, get everything back. So as an entrepreneur, be ready that this shit can happen no matter how much you save and adjust. And that's why we talk about getting into other things, not just keeping all your eggs in one basket. And I've done it several times. I get one customer, they're doing good, and it's like, shit, I'm making so much, I'll just focus here.
Yeah.
And if you don't diversify in any kind of way, and that one person's like, hey, man, we were just bullshitting, it's like, fuck.
Yeah. It can be tricky in that you have to spread those eggs out basket-wise, and you do have to diversify whatever revenue streams you have. And this is no different than, whether you're an entrepreneur or you work for somebody else or whatever, is it's still like you may lose your fucking job. I mean, again, whether you own fucking 10 businesses or you're 19 and you just got your first job and you're working for somebody else, is that there still has to be a plan, and there have to be contingencies in place should shit go wrong. Where I have struggled and where I've found it to be difficult is maneuvering and navigating through how many different revenue streams and diversifications you have, because it's really easy to have too many of them. And while most people say, oh, it's a good problem to have, like kind of, but it's every bit as difficult of a problem to have, in that if you have too many and now you're spread so thin to where now you start half-assing everything, now you fuck all of them up. Where, yeah, you don't want to just have one fucking golden egg that's doing everything for you. You can't have fucking 30 balls in the air at the same time either, because then again that's where you'll really fuck yourself over. So just to me, again, the kind of recurring theme is figuring out how many you can have and still maintain a high level of quality control and still put out a good product and not burn yourself out to the point where you lose your fucking mind. That's a hard road to hoe and line to walk. But
yeah, and a lot of people don't realize the stress of what it takes to have one business, let alone 2, 3, 4, and you will literally make yourself sick sometimes with just stressing out, and you don't want to be a burden on people. So I would say you got to find that 1, 2 people that you can lean on and talk to that can, if not give you advice, let you vent. And then sometimes that's all it takes is just venting out your bullshit and be like, okay, cool, I'm good. And Mike, unfortunately for him, is my person that has to hear that.
Shit right back at you.
Shit, something I thought about this morning. I was running a little late today. Normally I'm up here by, I would say, the latest 6 o'clock. And I come to the studio to work just to get away from home. But accountability, something a lot of people don't realize business owners have to do. Well, if there's no boss telling you, hey, man, you got to be here at 7, and you're not holding yourself accountable every day to show up at 7, 8, whatever time you decide to start. If you start at 8, you should probably be there at 7:30 if you're the boss, especially if you have employees. Because if your employee's unlocking the door for you, sometimes that's some awkward shit in a small business, when you walk up and your employee's drinking coffee and shit and he's not your assistant. It's like, oh, shit. But accountability, that's something to keep focused on. If you're one of those people who has a problem getting up to go to work for somebody else, you need to start making it your routine to wake up every day. Because if you can start getting up for someone else, you'll start getting up for your dream as well.
Yeah.
And make that time, which both of us, I would say, 6, 7 hours of sleep and the rest is work. Yeah. And sometimes we fit in bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's just very different, I think, about owning your own business or being an entrepreneur that way is that there's not really a set schedule. I mean, there kind of is, but there really isn't. And that, there's times regularly where it's like Friday night at fucking 10 o'clock and I'm in my office doing shit.
Yeah.
Now, granted, there's also times where it's fucking Wednesday morning at 7:30 and I'm not doing shit, so... But the thing is that you've got to do it, and if I could pinpoint one thing, is that you've got to do what needs to be done when the fuck it needs to be done. Yeah. And that's the gist of it. And what you'll find is that A, you'll hold yourself more accountable, and B, you'll end up working more hours per week than you would working for somebody else. But it really boils down to, what do you want?
Yeah.
And the reality is that most people aren't really that hardwired for having to do all of the things that it takes to own your own businesses, which is why not many people do it percentage-wise. Yes, obviously there's millions of people that own businesses, but if you look at how many people own the businesses versus everything else, it's obviously a pretty stark contrast percentage-wise, and it has to be that way. I mean, obviously not everybody can own their own business. Like, businesses have to have employees, and there have to be more employees than there are business owners, but I have found that for me, like, I'll work myself harder than somebody else would get out of me, because at the end of the day, it's yours.
Yeah.
And you're always going to give more of a shit about your own business than anybody else will, or that you would for somebody else's business, and that's just kind of how it works. But
yeah, that's 100%. So for those of y'all that asked, that's Entrepreneur 102. We skipped 101. Now we've talked about it quite a bit, and people, that's the recurring theme. People always want us to talk business and what it's like. And if we did that every day, you would literally have to sit here with a camera on us every day. Last week, I was damn near pulling my hair out trying to figure out shit. It's just how it is. And then this week's, well, since last Thursday, shit's been great, you know, but Monday through Thursday or Thursday morning sucked the fucking ass, you know?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's almost like you better be prepared and well equipped to deal with having a bipolar element to your life, because there's going to be days that you're like, fuck, this is awesome, everything's looking great, and then 2 days later you're like, holy fuck, now what am I going to do? And watching your bank account go to where like you can sleep and you feel comfortable, and 3 days later you're like, what the fuck, like god damn, how am I going to get through next week? I mean, there was a several year period, and there's still times where I experience that, so it's just a different way of life. You got to be comfortable at being uncomfortable. And it just takes a certain breed of person, I think, to be able to do that and live that way and stay calm and not let it completely unravel your entire life that way. Because if you statistically, like most relationships and family dynamics fail due to money, and arguing over finances, or not having enough, or, one person spent this on that and the other one's pissed or whatever. And, so, not only do you have to be that, but you've got to have, if you are married or have a significant other and it's serious, like they have to be understanding of that. And I think the best way to handle that is to compartmentalize and say, like, I'm going to worry about that shit. Here's what I need you to worry about. And what I can say that I think works the best for most people, myself included, is that there's a common account where all of the bills get paid out of, and here's the monthly nut that we need to live the way that we live, and then I'm going to put that amount into that common account, and then that gets dispersed monthly as needed. Maybe with just a little bit of extra for whatever, going out to eat or what have you. But then I'm going to worry about the big picture shit. That way they don't have to. It's like, whether it's business, military, fucking whatever, is that, that's really the best way to do it. Because if you've got everybody else worried about all of the kind of in the weeds things that they really don't need to be worried about, then they're not focusing on what they need to be worried about. And so to me, that works very well for that.
Yeah. Like you said, a partner, someone strong behind you. A lot of people see the stress we go through. My wife, I wasn't thinking, and one of our suppliers was all fucked up while I'm trying to deal with other shit, move money from here to there to make sure everything's cool. I get a phone call from my rep. He's like, hey, man, your account's good. Don't worry about it. I'm like, what the fuck? How the fuck's it good? I was sitting here moving money from this account over here to this account, and I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to let it ride. Homeboy said it's good, so we're going to get 30 more days out of this. And I get home, and she's like, oh, don't worry about it. I just put it on my credit card. And I'm like, bitch. But that's a true partner that, she's been there. Yeah. She knows, she's been there when we had started with $0. Yeah. And she's seen it go crazy, and then she's seen it go to shit. Yeah. And like you said, a good partner, and like it's a good support system outside of that partner, because there's times you and your wife are going to want to murder each other.
Yeah. They've got to realize, hey, this isn't I punch the clock at 9 and punch it at 5, and this is what we get every fucking 2 weeks, and that's what it is. Like that's just not how it works. No. So the wins are bigger, but the L's are bigger. You know? So it's just it's more like a crypto market that way. It's more volatile financially, which if you guys aren't on the same page and that's too stressful for either one of you, then it's probably not going to fucking pan out well. Yeah,
if your significant other laughs at you when you get naked, that's not your support system. Not financially, because she can't hand you naked for free. You know what I'm saying? So imagine naked and broke. So that's all we're going to get into this bullshit today. I have a couple other things, too. Sitting around, I'm fixing to be 42. You just turned 42, right?
43.
43. Damn, you're old. I'm fixing to turn 42. Think about this, and this is really fucked up, and this is how fucked up my week was last week, because this is when I wrote this note. So sitting here, the average American right now lives to be between 68 and 72 years old. We are closer to death right now than we are to when we were born.
Yeah, way closer.
Way closer. Like
2/3 closer.
Yeah. Like when people say you only live once, that's not true. And I said that to my wife the other day, and she said, you know that's bullshit, right? She said, you live every day.
Yeah.
She said, you only die one fucking time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, man, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
You know? But, I mean, it's true.
Oh, it is. Yeah. I mean, you only die once. You should be living every day, but.
And if you're not, there's you a good fucking lesson.
Yeah.
Go try to live every fucking day, even on the small shit.
Yeah.
You know, the small wins, we do talk about that from time to time. Buy yourself a steak. If you've been eating cheap, buy yourself a steak. If you're not into, buy yourself an extra head of lettuce, whatever the fuck you're into.
Yeah, you still got to live.
Yeah.
And you got to enjoy it because what's the fucking point if you don't, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're not living at all, then fuck that. Hold on, I got someone at my front door. Y'all going to have to hang on. This might be an important package. Oh, never mind. My bitch got it.
And I will say, I mean, you know, I would rather not live to be 100 fucking years old and die young enjoying shit than, or younger. I mean, I don't want to die fucking tomorrow, but I'd rather die, you know, earlier and live that shit to its fullest than, you know, be safe and overly calculated and wind up fucking, you know, living to be 102 years old, you know, and spending 30 years of that, like, eating bland, shitty food. And
unless you're that old lady who just got over COVID and the first thing she did was drink a beer. Did you see that?
No.
She was 102 or 103.
No, but I want to shake her hand.
In the hospital
Slap
bed.
her on the ass.
Motherfucker drank a Bud Light in
That's
the
awesome.
fucking hospital bed.
That's fucking great shit.
Yeah, I mean, the most awkward conversation I've ever had, I don't know if we've ever talked about it on the air, but I'm not going to say where we were, but me and Mike are at a place, and I'm not even going to say who asked us, and someone said, how do you want to die?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, the answer I wanted to give, I couldn't give, but it was, at my age, it was like, shit, I'm close to where I need to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm almost, shit, if I make it to 76, I ain't scared to just have a fucking skydiving or a parasail accident and just be done with it.
Yeah.
I say that shit and I'll have one of my insurance be like, nope, we ain't paying. Fuck his
called
ass.
But yeah, I mean, the thing that there's like a certain trajectory in your life, I think, at least for me, that like I never really thought about age or felt old or even considered any of that stuff until I was, you know, late 30s. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you know, just in the last few years. And now I think about it quite a bit in that same reference is that, yeah, you kind of have to think about it. I think like, you know, if I think 25 years ago, right, which is when I joined the fucking Navy, like that doesn't feel when I look back like that wasn't that long ago, you know, like from the day I joined the Navy, which it was 25 years ago, just a couple weeks ago. And it's like, dude, that went by like fucking that.
Yeah.
And you think about like, okay, where am I going to be 25 years from now? I'm in that age window of the average time that people fucking die.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, it's impossible not to think about that pretty fucking regularly. You know, when you're way outside that window, like, yeah, you don't think about it.
Yeah.
And when you're starting to think about it in that frame of reference, and it's like, fuck, yeah, I've been around longer than I have left.
Yeah.
That makes you think different, makes you live different, you know, makes you value things very differently. You know, your perspective changes, and you know, the bitch of it is that, you know, for all of us, of course, myself included, I remember, like when I first joined the Navy and was at SEAL Team 3, like there were these guys in their 40s, you know, senior chiefs, master chiefs, whatever, that would say shit like that, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk to fucking Zohan all day long. I could slap him around and tie him to a chair and fucking beat it into him. Like, he's just not going to think that way until he's in that position.
Oh, yeah.
You know, same thing with before you have kids. Like, you can beat somebody to death trying to tell them what it's going to be like. They're just not going to know what it's like until they're a fucking parent, you know, and the worries and the stress and the bitch and the kick and the dick that comes along with being a parent.
Yep.
You know, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I love that adage, youth is wasted on the young, because goddamn it sure is, you know, and we're all guilty of it.
Yeah, I mean, just in reference to what you said, 25 years went by like that when you were in the SEALs, or since you joined to now, but think about when you were 6 to when you turned 18. How long did that feel?
Oh yeah, like 3 lifetimes.
You know, and yeah, it feels like easily, like you said, 3 times longer than the time you've been an adult. Yeah. And I look back on it and people are like, when would you go back? If you could take all your knowledge right now and go back to a time, what time would you go back to? Fucking high school.
Be slaying all kinds of
Oh, dude. Man, because think about it. You don't really have shit to worry about.
Yeah.
You have to get to school. You have to make decent grades. You get to play games, which is football, baseball, whatever the fuck you want, and go work out. You literally, someone busses in sex for you. Yeah. They bring that shit to you. When you're an adult, you have to look at, and you don't damn near have to card motherfuckers now.
Yeah.
Like, damn, how old is that? That bitch is fine as a motherfucker. And then you're like, oh, that bitch is 17. Yeah. You know, because these younger chicks want to look older. Older chicks want to look younger. It's all fucked up. And then dudes want to look like chicks. It's all kinds of fucked up.
So, Matt, just to give you reference, I just graduated high school in May of 2021. So it hasn't been a full year that I've graduated high school.
That's absurd.
Yeah. And you want to be a chick. I mean, shit's fucking weird. But
yeah, I mean, you do look older. I mean, you don't look like you're fucking 30, but yeah, you look older than you are. But
yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts. Well, so, I mean, think about it from this standpoint. Did high school seem like it was a long time from the time you started till you finished, or did it seem like it flew by?
It felt like fucking forever. Yeah. I hated it.
I'd go back to that shit. I'd push for year-long school.
See, I wouldn't, and for the same reason to him, like high school was fucking horrible for me.
For you it was, but I was I wouldn't say I was the most popular, but I was still this same guy sitting there talking shit, you know, having fun. So I was one of the people wanted to fucking be around.
Yeah. No, high school was a long fucking 4 years for me. But
yeah, I mean, I was finger blasting chicks when I was 13. You know what I was?
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, Zohan.
Yeah.
How easy was it to be like, shit, at lunch I'm gonna see 30 pieces of ass that I'd tap. And now,
but me and you had very different high school experiences.
But check it out. But now, is there 30 pieces of ass that you know you have a possibility of talking to? There's not, because it's traffic. I mean, at work.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
dude,
yeah.
It's different now.
Well,
I work with 30-year-olds, man. Like
yeah, you do. I seen some of them older chicks. What's up, girls?
Well, but I mean, the thing with high school though that I think is different than I know it's very different than the workplace or even, I mean, maybe college would be the same. I didn't have the typical college experience. I did night school while I was a fucking SEAL instructor and had 2 newborn kids. So, you know, I wasn't at the fucking frat house getting fucking plowed or doing the plowing.
Yeah.
But, you know, but high school and I'll say probably even college, if you go to like a big university and whatever, is that it's kind of like a wedding where just by being there, like if you're in high school or college with chicks, like there's an automatic instant credibility sort of safeness there. I mean, sort of, because obviously shit happens, but it's at least more so than, you know, running into somebody at fucking Target or whatever. You know, It's like, well, you're a classmate of mine, or, you know, I've seen you the last 3 months every fucking day, and you haven't tried to fucking kill me, so you're at least better than a complete fucking stranger, you know. But so in that regard, it's for sure different. Like him, though, I wouldn't go back to high school. I mean, I like where I'm at now. I think 30 to 40 thus far has seemed like, if I had to pick a decade where it was like that was kind of the meat and potatoes, for me it was, you know, I mean, obviously that's right when I got out of the Navy was at 30, you know, and you're still young enough to really do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, I feel like we still are now too, but I really think, I mean, to me, like once you get into your 60s, that's kind of when shit should be winding down, you know? I mean, I do feel like, and by winding down, I mean not putting in 120 hours of work and running your dick into the ground and still playing hard too, you know?
Yeah.
But because, I mean, fuck, I think about like even back not even 10 years ago, I mean, when I was in my mid-30s, like what I could get away with doing, pushing myself physically, whether it was driving 24 hours straight and then going right into a full work week or whatever, like I could do shit like that a lot more safely and competently than I can now. You know, like I definitely have to be smarter about mostly rest. You know, I mean, that's rest and nutrition. Like I've got to be more careful about what I eat and how hard I push myself physically, because both of those things, if they're way off, will negatively impact me a lot more than they would even just a few years ago.
I'm kind of smiling. I don't know if they caught that on camera, because I was the same way. I could stay up and fucking drive forever. Like, fuck, even when me and my wife first, I'd fucking drive straight from Vegas home.
Yeah.
And when me and you go on our first trip, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll stay awake with you. Fucking it turns dark, I'm over there just fucking pass the fuck out. Snoring.
Well, yeah, I mean, I still do it, or still can do it, and still do it occasionally, but it will fuck me up. Like, it's not worth the time I save driving through the night, because it'll take me 2 or 3 fucking days.
Yeah, to recoup.
Once I get back of where I'm, noticeably fucked up, whether it's brain fog or whatever. But
brain fog is worse than any fog.
Oh, it's fucking terrible, man.
He's kind of the same way, though, because on that same trip, we're coming back, and I was like, dude, you look tired after I done rested for like 6 hours. And I was like, you look tired. He said, nah, man, I can't sleep with someone else driving. I was like, well, just fucking sit over there and relax. And it was 5 minutes down the highway, that motherfucker snoring. But it's this, I mean, some people you're comfortable with. Like my wife, I ain't sleeping. I've slept once while that motherfucker was driving.
Yeah, there's very few people I can sleep while they drive.
Yeah, like if I've noticed that you can keep up or drive fast or faster than me on the highway and not wreck your car, I'm pretty cool with us doing the speed limit and going somewhere. I'm pretty sure you'll be a safe person.
Especially in an 8,000-pound truck.
Yeah, no shit. Speaking of driving, and how was that cop Saturday that pulled you over? Was he friendly? Was he gentle?
I mean, here we go again with me and the fucking cops.
Wait,
right?
hold on. So you got pulled over on Saturday after Cars and Coffee?
Right after your brown ass was hanging out the window, they pull me over. Like, you talk about... Like let's get the white privilege shit right out of the way.
Well, here's the beauty.
No seatbelt, brown guy hanging out of a Mustang with a camera, no problem.
And it looked like a gun.
Right? No fucking problem there.
So just to give context, I was filming. So Tyler was on a bike, Mike was on his Pista, and then Matt's in his GTR. I'm with Logan. He was in the Pista. I was with Logan in a Mustang, and the Mustang, it's so small, and I shouldn't have been doing what I was doing, but I was hanging outside with a gimbal. It's like a good solid 30 pounds of equipment hanging outside of the car, filming them, kind of just, doing stuff, obviously in Mexico. But, so apparently Mike got pulled over.
The beauty of it is he fucking comes past me, looks at my car, cuts between us, and pulls Mike over.
Well, no, so he didn't just cut between us. He actually went and went all the way forward. Right, and got like 3 feet in front of me with his lights on. I'm looking like, dude, are you pulling me over? Or are you going past?
Yeah.
That motherfucker's rubbernecking to see if I have a goddamn registration sticker in my windshield. And I didn't know what he was doing at the time until he pulls me over. He's like, you know how I pulled you over? I was like, no, I don't, because I wasn't fucking speeding past you. I saw you pulling over a fucking Tacoma from a mile back, and I slowed way the fuck down. So I don't know. He's like, well, you don't have a front license plate and you don't have your registration. I just looked at him and was like, motherfucker, really? That's why you're pulling me over? Like, with this amount of traffic? Like, I mean, I had to, like, once he got behind me and I knew for sure he was, I mean, dude, it took fucking about 1.25 miles for me to find a spot just to not get run the fuck over.
Yeah.
And to not put his dumb ass in jeopardy. And, it's just like, dude, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, of all things to pull a motherfucker over for, that's what you're pulling me over for. And that's not something that you saw from the side of the road. Like, I mean, I don't know if he let
was
that
pissed
dude go.
He heard us.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. I mean, there was a few other fast cars that were fucking revved up and loud. And we're slowing down and engine brake downshifting, slowing down to not speed past him, which you can hear from, quite a ways away. I got to stop drinking carbonated shit when we come on here. But yeah, so that's what I got pulled over for. Not even a ticket, just a fix-it ticket. Like, just, make sure that there's a plate. He was like, why is there no plate? I was like, I saw you, because when he walked up, he walked forward to the car again and like got down on his hands and knees and looked all down low. And then when he asked me, he's like, why isn't there a plate? I was like, dude, you saw it. There's nowhere to put a fucking plate on there. Like, you'd have to manufacture a bracket. Like, I'll just throw a plate in the fucking windshield like everybody else does.
Yeah.
And pull it down, whatever, when we're at a show or what have you. But I was just like, dude, what the fuck? Like.
There's two things I want. You could have, one thing I want you to start doing, and a way you could have handled that. You could have, can I get out real quick? And if he says, yeah, get out. Motherfucker, it fell off. And just
Holy
that
shit.
pissed, and he'd be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
But what I want you to start doing, since you've wrote books, right?
Since I what?
You've wrote books,
Yeah.
right? I think you should get some, sign one, keep it in the glove box. Do you know why I pulled you over? Yes, officer. And just grab the book. Here you go.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, this
I'll-
motherfucker.
Dude, that motherfucker would have had me in handcuffs fucking for bribing a police officer. Like,
I will get you out.
He was one of those guys.
As long as someone films it, I will pay for everything.
He's one of those tackleberry motherfuckers.
Oh, dude, he was on a fucking mission. That motherfucker, I thought he was in a funeral procession the way the motherfucker came by with his lights on.
Yeah.
But he looked at mine, and for those of y'all that don't know, mine's not registered in Texas, so he looked at mine. He can't do shit about my front plate. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Hey, unless you're listening, sir. Then still fuck you.
I'll say fuck him.
Yeah, and then still fuck you.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
I said
that shit
bitch.
pisses me off.
Yeah,
man.
I said bitch.
No,
Yeah, I
no,
mean,
it
because
really does.
we were going to get a good fucking pull in. We had to. But then I fucking stop on the side of the road so I drive slow when a friend's pulled over so he can catch up or whatever. I probably should have pulled over, but I asked Mike and he's like, no, you didn't need to pull over. This was later on that day. So I'm stopped on the side of Bush and Mike passed by me and I'm doing fucking highway pulls, fucking quarter-mile pulls down the fucking highway. It was a quarter mile or half mile after I did a pull, the fucking cop pulls over.
Well, yeah. So, dude, we got lucky as fuck on that one. Let's be honest. Is that I think it was like a 4Runner or something. It was some kind of decent sized SUV. Got in front of us and like starts hauling ass, and we weren't doing crazy speeds, but we were up around three digits, I think. And there's a spot on the road that we were on where there's like a cement barricade wall kind of thing, and it's between, like, there's a little grassy area, and it's a perfect spot for a cop to sit there and not even keep his radar on, because my shit didn't go off until he was already out. Like if we had flown by, we'd have gotten fucking nabbed for sure. Like he was, because of where it's at and how the radar works and all that, it's like a perfect spot for them to sit. And if you fly by there, like, you're going to get fucking busted. And, I mean, I was like, holy shit. Like, I mean, all of a sudden.
I didn't even see
Yeah,
him.
lights on right next to us, like driving out of a grassy area on the shoulder, fucking pulling over the poor bastard in front of us. It's just like, holy shit. Like, just, good luck, I guess. I got bad luck at the start and good luck at the end. But
Yeah, because I just did a literal quarter-mile pull spinning. That shit was a good time. Because you even slowed down and you're like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah. And then I sent it to you. I was just doing this.
Yeah.
And
it was a 10.8, right?
yeah, 10.8, spinning like a month. But I mean, I literally pulled over in trash and fucking launched it.
Yeah.
But I didn't. People keep asking, what's the quarter mile on that car? Fuck, I don't know. I've never got to do one.
I mean, I'd say conditions being how they need and tires being warmed up and all that, I think it'd probably be right around 10.
Yeah, I could get a low 10 out of it if I could warm the tires up. Because when Zohan was hanging out the window, they told me to gun it, and my tires weren't warm yet, and that motherfucker was not happy about that.
I mean, to me, that's the bitch of the rear wheel drive. And one of the neat things about the Pista, it's kind of frustrating when you want to hammer it, but it's nice for getting the most out of it, is that its launch control is very calculated and very specific to maintaining traction. It's actually pretty impressive how well the traction control and whatever works on launches with that thing. I've only launched it a few times because of that, because it's like the only time I'm going to do it is if I'm trying to race, which I'm not. Not off the line in that thing, because it's just so much power going to the back end. But that's the bitch with any rear wheel drive car, is that for a quarter mile time, it's tough to get the conditions just right to where you're actually going to be able to see what the car can do.
You damn near got to be on a strip.
Yeah, I mean, you really do. Like, it needs to be prepped. The tires need to be warm. It needs to be warm out. One of the neat things about the fucking Turbo S, I mean, I got a 10-1 on the fucking street with that thing.
Oh, I went back and looked. I sent that to you, and I was like, I gotta see what the fuck he did.
But I will say it was in a spot that was invalid. There was just enough slope for it to be invalid, but it was also on the stock tires. With the Sport Cup 2s, I would bet, and especially in good conditions weather-wise, it'd be a sub-10.
Yeah, I guarantee it's a 9.8 car, easy.
Yeah.
And with the information I've been getting lately, if you want to go ahead and talk about them with M Engineering, the amount of money you can spend to make that car do what it can do, it's fucking stupid.
It is. I mean, I guess the bitch of it is that, like with anything else, it's like you look at, like, say, an R8. You know, we were talking about that. You know, fuck it costs so much to get an R8 to that level. But you can get an R8 for $180,000. Yeah. Whereas you ain't getting a fucking you're not getting a 992 for under $250. You know, so it's like to get to between 5 and 6, 60 to 130, 10-second quarter mile. You know, you're looking at 300 fucking grand, kind of almost, no matter how you fucking slice it. You know, even in a GTR. Yeah. Right. I mean, you may be able to get one for 90,000, 100,000, but you're going to spend. I guess I should say, you could probably put 100,000 into that to get it to be 1,000 wheel, getting those kinds of times. And you could get it for cheaper, but it's still a GTR. Yeah. Like, I still don't really like them. But anyway, I will say kudos to fucking M Engineering. And now that we got Zohan, who's a little more mobile with doing the stuff, we've been talking about doing a lot more content. I can assure you we've already got a bunch recorded, and we'll continue to do so. And I'm going to do a full review, both walking around and driving with his skinny ass in the passenger seat to get some real world. Actually, you put you in the passenger seat, throw him in the back.
Hell yeah!
Show the practicality of that motherfucker. But,
hell yeah!
But that thing is a bad motherfucker. I mean, the guys at M Engineering have done I'd say a masterful job at tuning that specific platform. I know they're very good with McLarens as well, and they have some other stuff. I mean, they have stuff for Audis and Ferrari. They've got some pista tunes, which I'm not fucking with it, just because it's already too good of a car to mess with. I don't want to risk it, but yeah, it's just like the tune on that makes that a perfect car, because stock, it's fucking quick. Don't get me wrong, where because of what we've kind of gotten accustomed to speed-wise, it's still just not quite fast enough on rolling speeds. It's quick. Like, it's not like you're disappointed, but there's just that little bit of like, God, it just needs to be just a little bit faster, And for me, the 6-second 60 to 130 is kind of like my benchmark for it. If I'm going to drive a car and put the money into it, and fuck with having a high-performance sports car, that is the fucking gold standard. Like, it's got to be that fast or faster. Oh, yeah. Because if it's not, it just doesn't feel quick enough. It's just not fun enough. And it's like, if you're dropping multi-six figures on a fucking car, you need to enjoy it,
That's what I was showing Zohan earlier, because he walked in. I was like, this is what I do to research for the show and then stuff we're doing. So I've got YouTube up on one screen, and I'm looking at cars that I want to buy. And I go through many cars, and I'll send you some, like that R8 I sent you. The color was badass. Yeah. That's what I was sending you, the color. But so I look at the car, and then I look what it takes to get the car to the spot I want it at. Yeah. And I'm not scared to spend 20 grand, which sounds like a dick move to say, but why spend 20 when I can spend less and get there and still have a better car? Yeah. And all that. The stuff we've done with the GTR Pro, with Kirkland Hans and PTG turbos, I would say it's on that same Porsche level. Yeah. And what I love about them and M Engineering, while M Engineering does have other platforms they mess with, I think their bread and butter, they stick with Porsche. Right now, the 992 and McLaren. Yeah. Those are their bread and butter cars. Yeah. And when you have a company that's like, we can do a Ferrari, but these are our cars, and they stick with that, you can trust what they're putting out. And it's the same with the Kirkland Hans and the PTG. They only do AMGs. Well, they could do an Aston Martin. Yeah. They don't.
But yeah, and to me, the interesting thing about tuning that I think that I've kind of learned over the last few years is that there's a sweet spot with them too. Is that, like, I'm not real keen to let somebody do a custom tune of a one-off shop where it's like, yeah, I'm the shop owner. It's not a franchise. They don't have a big brand. It's like, I don't really want some dude like that custom tuning my shit.
Yeah.
Now, on the same token, Wise Tech, fucking Cobb, you know, APR, like all these super big ones too are real cookie cutter, like one size fits all, kind of half-ass also. Like they are almost as bad as the manufacturer in that they're so big branding wise that like they don't want to take any fucking chances.
Yeah.
You know, and so like they're not really doing a whole lot. I mean, I can't tell you how many fucking cars I've tuned with some of those bigger, you know, Wise Tech and Rentec and whatever, where it's like, it doesn't really feel any different.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe a little bit here and there, but not enough for it to be worth fucking with.
Yeah.
What's awesome about places like M Engineering or Kirkland Hans is that it's a big enough brand, and they have a big enough following for them to 100% have to give a shit.
Yeah.
Because if somebody blows a fucking motor or has a really bad customer experience with them, that's going to fuck them over, you know, and they have to be mindful of that. On the same token is that, you know, people are going to flock to them when guys like us use their shit and then say, dude, you know, here's my progress. I mean, I dropped about a full second in a 60 to 130, which is a lot of fucking time for a $3,000 tune and nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, that's almost unheard of. Like, man, I don't know of another manufacturer that fucks with tunes that can claim that with just a simple one stage fucking tune will give you that kind of fucking, you know, power increase, performance increase.
There's on the M Engineering, because I've been going back and forth with M Engineering about the 992 platform, because that's where I'm leaning. Ever since I drove his car stock to go get PPF, I text him that. I was like, this is a bad motherfucker. And I didn't even get on it that day. And then I drove it tuned. It's something about the car. There's certain cars that make you feel special. But I'm weird about liking a sound.
Yeah.
And so I've been going back and forth with M Engineering to see what tweaks we can do to what you have to where it's not nutty. But, and I mean, they could answer it once and be like, okay, fuck him, I'm done. I did it. I got an email today when I think I messaged him Thursday or some shit because I was talking to you about it. And today is Monday. I get an email today. They know I haven't bought the car. And they're like, hey, I just wanted to make sure, do you have any other questions? Are there any other platforms we can help you with? We just want to make sure we're helping you get the best knowledge you can.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You didn't have to do that. Yeah. You know, it reminds me of UGR.
Yeah.
When they realized you had a bad experience, they reached out to you and didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
Those are companies I want to work with. Yeah. And the thing is, some people, we don't get this shit for free. Me and him, we'll spend our money so we can give you guys honest reviews, and we don't have to say, this was a paid promotion by fuck that. And for those of y'all that do want to work with us, y'all, that have companies, know if you send us a product, we're going to give you an honest review whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So you better make sure you're sending us your A-game product, because if it's shit, ask Corsa.
Yeah.
Corsa exhaust. I told them their exhaust sucked, and they fixed it.
Yeah.
You know, while we're still getting comments, you don't know what you're talking about. Corsa sounds great. Yeah, now, and you're welcome, dick.
Yeah. After I told you it sucked.
They reached out to me, hey, we didn't realize that, and we're going to go ahead and fix that. We appreciate the honest review. Yeah, so you dicks that are getting this a year later, oh, it's the best exhaust I ever heard. You're welcome, asshole. Go to Patreon, and for $20, you can support us fixing your fucking exhaust.
Yeah, no shit.
But, you know, they want that. And that's what these reviewers out there, and I air quote that, they just want to kiss ass.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a dance. It's a corporate dance.
It is.
Because, you know, it's like, well, I want Ferrari and Porsche and McLaren to give me, you know, press cars so that I can do the reviews, but then they're walking this fine line of, like, you know, if I completely trash the product, then they're not going to give me fucking press cars, and then I'm not going to have a YouTube channel. And that, you know, I mean, the Uninfluenced, like that's, I mean, like, send a press car or fucking free stuff, whatever, like, do it, don't do it. Like, we're going to acquire what we want to acquire, whether we have to pay for it or not, and give people the full honest, no bullshit review, because that's what it's all about, you know.
Imagine, and I was thinking about this, and we've talked about it. People like Ferrari or Porsche, they may not give a shit about what we think, but they may want to hear what we think. If you bring someone the new 992 and it's a concept, the car is beautiful inside. There's things that we both agree could be better, like the Sport Aero kit is the notch. It should be standard almost.
Yeah.
And then there should be damn near a GT3 setup for it. Not full GT3, not enough to slow it down with aero, but enough to give it that aggression to where it's like, oh shit. And there's people like us that would pay 10 grand more for a hood and something, especially if it had the stock aero stuff on it. You know, a different hood, a more aggressive spoiler like the Tech Art setup. If they would have done shit like that, and then you get people like Tech Art like, man, shut the fuck up. You're going to put us out of business. Yeah. No, you can adapt to that kit.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Ferrari. Ferrari has some stuff that, there's just some tweaks y'all should do a little bit better. But in the grand scheme of things, y'all are Ferrari, and we're sitting here in fucking chairs telling you how to run your business. How to run your business. So fuck us.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like I look at it as a business owner, it's like, okay, well, I have products. Like I would rather have honest feedback. You know, like I don't want to give bags of dog food and leashes and collars and shit to people and hope that they blow smoke up my ass. Like if there's something wrong with it, I want to fucking know about it, because ultimately I want the product to speak for itself. You know, I don't want people, you know, blowing smoke and having, you know, paper tigers out there saying that, oh yeah, this is the greatest shit in the world, when it isn't. Like I want it to be the greatest dog food and dog products in the world, and people to say that honestly about it, you know. And so if there's, now on the same token, like just like any car, bike, fucking product out there in existence, is you're not going to make everybody happy. There's going to be certain people that just don't like it, no matter what the fuck you do with it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There's different strokes for different folks, but I think that, you know, that's the best attitude to take for it. And it would be refreshing to see some of these car companies push more for that. Take McLaren and Brooks as an example with drag times. Like, you know, they tried to stifle him and, you know, basically like gave him the peasant speech of like, you're just a fucking YouTube guy. Like what the fuck, you know, it's like that's a shitty fucking thing to do. Yeah. Like, I mean, and it's just a piss poor fucking policy decision on their part. But
yeah, I mean, if you have 1 million people, which I think Brooks gets close to 1 million views when he does some of those comparison videos. Yeah. 1 million of those, 1% are buyers. Yeah. Think about that. 1% of 1 million people could be buyers for that car.
Yeah, I mean, at a minimum, there's probably hundreds of people that are potentially going to buy one of your cars that are watching his show.
Yeah, you know? And so, if I see that shit that they put out,
I'd be like, fuck them.
Fuck them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, I mean, to me, like that's part of why I wouldn't buy a McLaren is because of the way they treated him. Yeah, you know, I also am just not a McLaren guy, but to me, a lot says, or you know, that says a lot about a company, and you know that would influence a lot of people's decision as to whether or not, you know, to buy that fucking car, and it's just a shitty business move, and it's more than shitty, it's arrogant.
Oh yeah,
you know, which is just fucking irritating.
And I said this Saturday. I think Rohan was there. Y'all were talking about something else. Someone asked me, "What would you change if you were McLaren?" If I was McLaren, I would make at least 10% less vehicles a year. And that sounds stupid, but here's the kicker: I would also raise the price 20% on the back end, so I could do better R&D and quality control to make sure my cars didn't catch on fire. Make sure they didn't fucking creak when people are driving them, and make sure everything worked perfect. Yeah. Why? Because you have people like Porsche. I like Porsche better, by the way. Yeah, they have issues, but as soon as two cars, because the 992 had issues with the doors, and people noticed they were rattling. 2 people, they issued out a recall because it was the exact same part on 2 cars across the world. Yeah. They issued a recall on them and started fixing them. They were leaving the plant. The issue's virtually gone. McLaren, you do the same shit, and they're like, fuck it. Most people aren't ever going to drive them anyways.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, and it's...
Yeah, I mean, I would do everything that you mentioned, and I would add one thing is I would buy a Pista, and I would pull the engine apart and figure out how they made that thing so goddamn responsive with no turbo lag, because that thing is a fucking masterpiece in that regard.
Well,
in every regard, but
I told Boardwalk Ferrari the other day, it was a couple months ago. I'm sitting in there and just one of the managers is like, how would you sell more cars? And they just happen to have a 720 there. I pointed at that 720 and I said, you take that, you take the for sale off that motherfucker, and everybody who comes in here to buy said 488 or whatever, you take them in that and you take them in a Pista.
yeah.
And I guarantee your fucking sales are going to go up like crazy. Why? Because that Pista is that good.
Yeah.
And, oh, fuck, I can't afford a Pista. Well, guess what? We have this 488, which is still a better car than that 720.
Yeah.
Is it faster? No.
Yeah, but driving experience-wise, it's 10 times more fun.
Yeah, the visceral feel of a 488 is good. It's damn sure not as good as a 488 Pista, but it's still better than that 720. If you want to boost your sales as a Ferrari dealer, if any of y'all listen to this, buy a fucking 720, high mileage or whatever, and that's your demo car. You drive this motherfucker, and you drive this, and keep the maintenance records, because I wouldn't want somebody coming back and saying, oh, well, you don't want to do that. Have one of your managers buy the fucking car.
Yeah.
And it just so happens to always be there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would figure a way to fucking do that. And a 720S is fucking fast.
Yeah.
I would still rate it up there with one of the fastest. It's the fastest car I've owned. One of the fastest cars I've been in outside of the R8. But something about the 992 you got and that Pista, they're fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. No, they're.
And then if I want to outrun those, I'll just go get on my motorcycle.
Yeah, no shit.
So, I got in trouble the other day she asked me, how fast did you go on the new one you got? And I said, I stopped looking at 168 when I took that run up. And she said, what?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what you're tripping about. She said, you wrecked at 120. And I said, yeah, and look at me now. I'm still here.
Better and stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get the review of the new Iron Horse that just came in.
Yeah.
Bad motherfucker.
Yeah, arguably the best looking bike.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that you've owned, it's just out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
For sure that I've owned, and I would agree. I don't know of any bike out there that is across the board, like all things considered, a better looking bike. It's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, and people are asking us to do more bike reviews. Again, with Zohan, we're going to be able to do more bike reviews. We do have Tyler that's going to give a more, I would say, lightweight pros edge to some of the reviews, but then you're going to have average
Dickheads.
And then fat guy like me. So you can have the average, our thoughts on what they are, because not everybody can ride like a jockey.
Yeah.
And then you're going to want the more novice and less skill, which is us, reasoning of why this is so good. And again, the beauty of it is nobody sent us these bikes.
Yeah, we bought them.
We buy them and ride the fuck out of them.
Yeah.
And hell, my first 20 miles on mine did 176. But they're just fucking fun. Like the cars, I mean, we take our shit and we drive them to the potential they're advertised.
Yeah.
If they can't handle it, we're going to let you guys know.
You fucking A. If they break, you're going to hear about it.
Exactly. One thing I did want to bring up before we're done, we got a little bit more time here. Something we talked about, taxes for the military, and you got this dumb cunt. And I know we're way back, but we didn't record for 2 weeks. AOC going to the MET Gala with $30,000 dress on, or the dress was probably close to $100,000, and a $30,000 plate MET Gala deal, tax the rich.
Yeah.
Bitch, you don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
For one, shut the fuck up. You were fucking one strip of clothes away from being a fucking stripper, as you was a fucking bartender in a fucking not so nice establishment. Shut the fuck up. To me, if you're not going to tax the government, I don't think, and I brought this up to you this same way, I don't think you should tax the military. And then that got you into a lot more. And I was like, holy fuck, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But you guys actually did something for us versus these motherfuckers are just leeches.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I think a lot of people don't even realize is that even when you're on active duty in the military, you pay income tax, right? Which to me is crazy, and it sounds kind of counterintuitive. It's like, wait, I'm paying my own salary and taxes, which essentially you are. And to me, because the military is an all-volunteer force, I think that, if you enlist, and even if it's just one enlistment and you never go to combat, or you do 30 years and you've got 9 combat deployments, to me, either way, is that the fact is that if you volunteer to serve in the military, is that you are essentially writing a blank check up to and including your fucking life payable to the United States government, and you're giving them the authority and the autonomy, to do with you whatever the fuck they want, basically. And that's whether it's vaccines, feeding you a certain way, fucking putting you through mandatory training, making you do shit you don't want to do, and ultimately sending you places to fight and possibly die. Is that all of those things are handed to them as you saying, I'm going to let you do this for the next 4 years, and I trust that you've got my best interest in mind, which is bullshit. But so my take is to take care of the military instead of a lot of the measures or arguments that people have of doing this or doing that or whatever. There's just really 2 simple things that from my perspective, having been out now about as long as I served, would make a big difference to actually feel like your country collectively appreciated your service and was legitimately saying thank you, which is you don't pay any taxes, right? Is that in the grand scheme of how many people serve, it's less than 3% of the population, so it's not a huge chunk of revenue, big picture wise. Is to say, you volunteered to serve in the military. For the rest of your life when you get out, you don't have to pay taxes. I don't think that's unreasonable. And that's every kind of tax, with one exception. Consumer goods, I'm okay with that because you can buy shit, you don't have to buy shit. Income tax, like both federal and state, if you live in a state that has state income tax, and property tax. Again, like, in the grand scheme of things, those aren't huge chunks of percentage of revenue, but it makes an enormous difference for those people. The second thing is healthcare, is that instead of having a Veterans Administration, which if you compile, just the facilities, the buildings, right, the real estate that they're on, property maintenance, fucking groundskeeping, utilities, power, water, sewer, et cetera, all of office supplies, fucking taking care of all of the equipment, x-ray machines, fucking, cutting edge bullshit, whatever, paying doctors, paying nurses. I mean, all of that is an astronomical fucking cost. And so instead of having any of that, is you shit can all of that. You cut all of those costs, you sell all that property. The government gets the money from all the property sales of where all these VA establishments are on. And then each veteran, again, when you get out of the military, you get a tax-free card and you get a health insurance card that just gives you a card that you can now take that card. You live wherever the fuck you want to live. You go to whatever doctor you want to go to, just like any good health insurance policy, and the government is billed for that directly. I'm not a statistician, a mathematician, an economics professor. However, I would love to know what the difference is. I would bet that it's either break even or you may even save money doing it that way, because of how inefficiently Veterans Administration and frankly everything in the government is run. It would probably be cheaper at the end of the day. I think it'd be a net positive in terms of the U.S. government actually spending less money on veteran health care than actually having Veterans Administrations. And not just is it cheaper, it would be better. Because most VA facilities are very poorly run. Yes, there are some great people. There's a lot of shitty ones too. I've been in and out of a number of them all over the country, and they are not a fucking pretty sight. But my point is, those 2 things, from the government standpoint, again, big picture wise, aren't huge net negatives for our government, but would make an enormous difference because the tax thing is obvious. The VA thing, not just quality of care, but one thing, again, that I think a lot of people don't realize is that depending on what your health issues are in exiting the military, that may determine where you kind of have to live to be able to access VA health care, because you have to be within a certain mile radius to be able to access some of it conveniently. And if you have to go to VA healthcare facilities. There's places where it's like, yeah, I'd love to live here. My family owns property here, but it's 270 miles from the nearest VA facility. So it's like, if you're, you know, an amputee, or you've got, you know, whatever fucking shit that you got from being in the military, that's going to have a pretty significant impact on where and how you live. So, you know, again, I just think those two things would be a really good way to fix, you know, the lack of kind of taking care of the fucking troops after they get out.
Yeah. Something I've always wondered. You think AOC's been dick down right? Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I think anybody with that kind of attitude hadn't been laid right.
Yeah.
You know?
Let us know in the comments if y'all think AOC is just crazy or she's just never been dick down right.
I think it's some of both, you know, but.
Yeah. But that's how our government's going now.
Yeah.
And it's a sad state. And what a lot of people don't know, so y'all think about this shit. We never go backwards when we set up economics.
Yeah.
Now that shit's at $15, you're never going to see it down. Gas will now be set around $2.70 on the low end to upper 3s, 4s. We'll probably see 5s here pretty soon. And I'm speaking from people in Dallas, Texas area. I know in California, you fucksticks have it all fucked up over there.
It's fucking absurd.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. You sent me pictures of that shit. Fuck, you people are nuts. No wonder your fucking state's going bankrupt.
Well, and what's crazy is how in debt that state is with the amount of fucking tax. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the highest taxed places in the country in every regard, not just in income tax, but in gas tax and fucking liquor tax, cigarette tax. I mean, they fucking tax the shit out of everything.
Also the highest paid state governments.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just the whole thing is fucking corrupt.
Oh, yeah. And everybody, and again, Mike says this a lot, we vote with our wallets, but if you don't vote, you're throwing out your wallet. Yeah, and that's the thing. You know, a lot of people are you Democrat? Are you Republican? At this point, I just want any fucking buddy that's going to get in there and fix this shit. I don't give a fuck what they run under. They could run under motherfucking Sesame Street, and I'll vote for them if they're going to fix the bullshit.
The problem that I have is that at this point, it's hard to completely trust and believe election results.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and to me, that unfortunately, I think is a signal of the beginning of the end, is that, you know, I don't know that the next midterm election, I think you'll see similar shit. On the next presidential election, it'll be even worse probably. You know, and like, to me, that if there's anything that troubles me, it's that.
Yeah.
Is that the integrity of our elections, I think, is in severe question. And, you know, whether it's the recall with Gavin Newsom, it's like, how can there seriously be that many people that would vote for that cocksucker to not have him recalled? Like, I don't know that I buy it, you know. And same thing with Biden. It's like, how the fuck did he get 10 million more votes than fucking Barack Obama did? Like, how is that possible? Yeah. You know, like,
there's no way in fucking hell.
Yeah, I mean, and so that's the problem. It's like, at this point, like, voting with your wallet is really the only fucking way you can vote, because I don't know that casting it at the ballot box is really doing any fucking good anymore. You know,
no. And they're doing away. I mean, we're watching our freedoms go the fuck away.
Yeah, I mean, they're eroding every fucking day.
When you're forcing people to be take a vaccine,
yeah,
and it's that's not how this shit works.
Yeah, and there's one thing I want to bring up with that, and I'll be the first to say that, you know, this started, you know, fucking over a year ago when people started comparing what's going on in this country to Nazi Germany. And you've got, you know, everybody with a different kind of spin or take on whether or not that's relevant. And what I would say is that, you know, at the start of the COVID shutdowns and lockdowns and, you know, 15 days to slow the curve or whatever the fuck, contrasted or compared to what it is now, it is very different, and it's much more alarming. Joe Rogan just posted something on Instagram. It's going to be a week later or whatever, but where it was a video about, you know, freedoms being eroded and making some of those comparisons. And, you know, there were some people in the comments kind of blasting him, saying, like, anybody that compares what's going on right now to, you know, the height of Nazi Germany is fucking ridiculous. And I would say you're half right in that to compare what's happening right this second to what happened at the height of Nazi Germany, yes, is a ridiculous comparison. However, the height of Nazi Germany didn't happen overnight, and to me, and I think anybody who can look at things non-biased and legitimately non-politically can look at what's going on right now and very quickly and easily identify that what's happening right now is the start of something like that being possible. It legitimately is. It's the start of it, okay? It's not Nazi Germany in 1943. It's Germany in 1936, 35, is coming off the heels of Spanish flu, Great Depression, all of these things that you're seeing a lot of similarities now where a lot of fear-mongering and societal splitting based on race and religion and ethnicity and things and social classes and guns and all of these things and making people feel obligated to do certain things or not, and then ultimately treating other citizens based on some of those decisions is how they started that process to get to where they had millions of people being slaughtered. And the overwhelming majority of the public being largely okay with it, or okay with it enough to not stop it. Because I remember I always wondered in high school. I went to the I guess it was the Jewish memorial in New York City when I was in high school, and I remember thinking to myself, like, how the fuck did that ever happen? And now I don't wonder that. Unfortunately, no, I don't think we're living in the height of Nazi Germany, but what you're seeing is the start of how things like that happen if it's left unchecked. And I don't think that that's a ridiculous comparison. I think it's a valid one and one that people should pay real fucking close attention to.
Yep. And the biggest difference I would say we predicted this a year ago before COVID was fully in effect. We both said eventually there's going to be another civil war, but it's not going to be what people think. Everybody's always said civil wars, whites on blacks. It's not going to be that way, people. It's going to be this party line versus this party line. The same way that shit went down.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, I've been watching, I started watching shit. I ain't going to sell out what designer was part of Nazi shit, but
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing how this motherfucker's still in business.
I know it.
But, Zohan,
Yep.
I'm gonna let you know we're close to an hour and a half. 5 minutes was you fucking up the cameras. So
it was about 5 minutes.
we're done.
We may have an issue though.
What?
I don't fucking know if this is recorded or not. The audio recorded.
That's fine.
I'm gonna kill myself if this wasn't recording.
That's all right. We'll still put out audio.
Are you sure?
Don't kill yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just
No,
keep
because I feel horrible. It's my first day on the job.
Yeah.
And it just defaulted, and because the light's not red, and so I'm like, oh shit.
We'll figure that out in a second.
Yeah. You didn't let me say bye, bitch.
Yeah, but before we get into that, do you have any questions?
Yeah.
Oh, so I do have a few questions for you guys. The first question is, if you could kind of travel back in time and give advice to your 18-year-old self, what would it be?
Don't marry that bitch.
For me, I actually wouldn't give myself any advice other than I would just say, keep doing what you're doing. That's it.
Really?
Yeah, I would, because to me there's too many what ifs, and there's too many wormholes or fucking alternate realities that one little decision, doing it differently can change the trajectory, so significantly to where I don't even want to know where that would go, honestly. Like, and to me, like, I don't really have these massive regrets. Are there decisions that I think back, like, yeah, I was too hard on my kids for this, or sure, but they're all learning experiences. I have more empathy and compassion towards my kids and other people now, I think, because of some of the mistakes that I've made. And there's so many things in life that are really that way. To me, like, if you look at every decision the same way, which is I'm going to do the best I can with what I have and give it a max effort, you can't go wrong. So, I mean, I guess in that regard, maybe, but I was already doing that. So I would say, if I wasn't doing that, if I had shitbagged the first 10 years out of high school, maybe I'd have different advice for myself. But, I joined the Navy and was in the SEAL teams at 19. So, I mean, yeah, like I wouldn't change anything. but that's me.
Rick and Morty taught me about wormholes and shit.
Who did?
Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit. What else you got?
So another question I have is, you know, I'm Gen Z. I know that you guys are probably my parents' generation, which is probably Gen X or boomers or something like that.
Gen X, we're not that fucking old.
Yeah.
Fucking boomer, Jesus.
Well, my parents are. My dad is on. My dad is about 51. Well, he is 51.
Yeah, he's about 51.
Yeah, and then my mom is 45. So you guys are both younger than both my parents.
Yeah, so your mom and I are almost the same age.
Yeah. So kind of that generational gap between you guys and I. Because I know that there's a huge generational gap, especially with technology and shit. But what advice would you give to my generation, just as a whole, and kind of just the trajectory of everything?
Don't be a pussy.
That's great advice.
I mean, that's about it. Is just stop fucking worrying about dumb shit.
Yeah. Get out and do something other than play on your fucking technical stuff.
Grab a hold of your nuts and stop being a pussy. And don't watch a video about it. Do it.
Yeah.
Don't play a game based on it. Go do it.
Yeah.
And that's whether it's fucking war games or like watching people play video games. That's some shit. Like I'm never gonna understand that. Like to me, it's bad enough to play a video game, because you don't want to do that thing or whatever. But to watch somebody else do it, like to me, my mind fucking just crumbles on itself, knowing how big of a thing that is. It boggles my fucking mind that people do that.
Yeah.
That's me. Like, go out and fucking live. Like, too much of our society is turning into the Matrix, honestly, where it's like everything is virtual. Go do those experiences, have those relationships. I mean, I see it in some of my own, experiences with kids, and that, when you grow up in such a virtual reality where like most of your communicating is done via text or Snapchat or whatever, where it's not face to face, more and more kids nowadays that are, teens, early 20s are socially really fucking awkward. Like they don't know how to sit there and fucking talk to somebody face to face and read social cues and know when they're saying something fucking stupid, or acting like a fucking dumbass because they didn't grow up actually interacting with people where people would be like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, stop being a retard. Like, pull your head out of your ass and stop being a fucking dumbass. Like there isn't any of that anymore, and so people don't pick up on that shit. And to me, like that's a vital, crucial skill that you need to have to be successful in life. Is you got to know how to fucking talk to people, and most kids your age do not know how to fucking talk to people.
Yeah,
they don't.
And
that's a fucking problem.
Yeah. People our age, if you notice, our filters are a lot less, and we don't get graded for it. Like, I literally told one of your bosses that I sold her drugs. Yeah. She laughed, and we just kept talking. Yeah. You couldn't do that. Why? Because you would be like, yes, I sold you methamphetamines.
I
would get a call from HR. I would get a call from HR being like, what did you tell her?
Yeah.
Shit.
Instead, we're going on a date Thursday. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, and your generation is, and people are going to take this wrong, but they're fucking weak.
A lot of them are.
Yeah. I wouldn't say all, but the majority is weak because of what you said, technology.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I'm not the normal fucking 18-year-old. These guys don't know this, but I started my own company at 15. It was called Influenced, which was a lot different than fucking Influence.
Than Uninfluenced.
Yeah. Where basically I just got a bunch of my friends who had more than, 1,000 or so followers on Instagram. Got about 70 kids signed up, and I would basically go up to restaurants and be like, hey, I have this platform of fucking high schoolers in your area that have influence among their friends. They can get you fucking business. And that shit worked. So did that for about a year and a half, proof of concept. So I'm going to community college now. I'm going to transfer out to probably either UTD, UT, or A&M at some point within the next probably 2 years out. So fall of 2023, I'll probably be going to UTD or some shit. But I by no means have lived the normal like high school, college experience. So for me to kind of pick y'all's brains is very useful because I don't see it from that point of view.
Yeah. No, that's a good attitude to have. I'd say I wish more kids had that attitude because, most folks in your age range and bracket think they know way out. Motherfucker, you're not going to teach me anything. You don't even know how to use your iPhone. What the fuck are you going to tell or teach me? Like, that's the attitude they have, and it's going to bite them in the ass,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot more like knowledge to be had than just how to fucking move an app across a few screens, right? So, I mean, yes, while we know how to use this technology, it was really your generation that fucking created it.
Well, here's the other thing is that in the blink of a fucking eye, that can go away.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, lose power for 24 hours and then get back to me on what good any of that shit does. It doesn't. And you know,
Texas snowstorm was
for the people that scoff at that. I mean, I can tell you, like, unquestionably, there are a number of countries out there that are trying and would want nothing more than to collapse our fucking power grid, and that's not impossible. So, you know, again, like in literally the flip of a fucking switch, all of those things that everybody's so skilled and coding and expert at can be non-existent, you know, overnight, literally. You know, so to put all of your eggs in that basket thinking, it's the same thing that we were talking about earlier business-wise, is that assuming that your golden egg revenue source is always going to be there is a disastrously shitty fucking miscalculation to make. You know, and if you always assume that whatever fucking tech platform that you're making millions of dollars on or that's how you're, you know, making your living, whatever that is always going to be there is a horrible fucking mistake to make. So keep that in mind, cabin boy.
You want to know how to fuck with them? Turn the power off and give them all mechanical pencils. Them been some lost motherfuckers right there.
Shit. Put them in a stick shift.
Yeah.
So I have one more question for you guys. That the first
turn on computers.
What's that?
I have one more question for you guys.
Yeah, what do you got?
The first time I was here, Matt's wife called that bike behind you guys basically a pussy bike, just a complete woman's bike. Mike, what do you think about that?
This bike?
Yeah, that bike. The bike behind you guys.
I'm trying to think of any time I've ever seen a chick ride that bike, and I can't think of one. But.
I think it's badass. I told Matt this. I don't know if I told you this, Mike, but I love the Indian Bobber Scout. That's one of my favorite bikes.
Well, it's the Scout. It's the Scout Bobber, not the Bobber Scout. But I hear you.
Yeah.
I had to explain to him though, because he's like, "That's the bike of my people," and I'm like, "Bro, it's feather, it's feather Indian, not dot."
No, I mean, I think.
That.
I like it, obviously. I mean, I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't like it. But, I mean, to me, it's a pretty masculine bike, but to each their own. I mean, if, you know, I mean, like I was saying earlier, it's that way with anything. I mean, you may pick any fucking car, truck, bike, fucking whatever, is that, you know, there's going to be people that think, wow, that's fucking awesome. And there's going to be people that think that looks fucking lame and I would never have that, you know, so.
I mean, to Matt, it's all bullshit, but.
It's the lifted truck syndrome to me.
Yeah.
There's some people who they lift a truck, they put 24-inch rims on it with rubber band tires. I got an off-road 4x4. Yeah. No, you don't, bitch. Yeah. You got a mall crawler that if you hit a curb, your fucking axle's going to fall off.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
That never even goes on a gravel road, let alone off-road.
But I powder coated it. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You got a truck that you needed attention for because you got a little dick. Yeah. Now, you want motherfuckers who actually have 4x4s with fucking lifted shit, fucking 35s, and actually go off-road. Congratulations.
Drive 50 miles east of here and you'll see a shitload of them.
Yeah. Yeah. To me, and honestly, a lot of her saying it's a bitch bike. So for those of y'all that don't know, my wife loves to talk shit about anything. And her biggest thing is to see how she can piss us off. So, yeah. So she just talks shit. So she's probably going to get a thumb in the ass. We're going to talk about that later. No, I was actually the first person to ride this bike. And now, I mean, if a chick's going to buy an Indian, this would probably be the one she could handle.
Well, they do make some naked bike cafe.
Oh yeah, they do, don't they? What's that fucker called?
I can't think of the model name, but it's like a Ducati Monster.
Yeah,
you know. But
well, yeah. So it would be one of those or this, and I think Indian kind of knew that they needed to separate that because they came out with the bobber. Was it the Chief?
Yeah,
Chief bobber. So what it did is it stretched this version out. I think it was in 3 inches and widened it 2 inches. It just looks bigger with a bigger tire, but I don't find this to be a bitch bike in any way. It's actually a fucking scary bike. Out of all the bikes, I would say this one scares me the most.
Well, yeah, I mean, having gotten on it and gotten squirrely, you know, where the back wheel's fucking in third gear spinning when you're shifting, like this bike is 100% analog. There are no fucking driver aids on it whatsoever. So I mean, it is truly an old school bike. Now, granted, it's like 86 fucking horsepower, but I can tell you on a bike that thing, fuck, if it weighs 300 pounds, I'd be surprised. It's a light, small bike too, with a really low center of gravity. So there's a lot of shit that you can do on this that you can't even do on some of the 200 horsepower plus sport bikes, again, just because there are no rider aids. There's a fucking tachometer in the middle, and that's it. So you actually have to be a little more careful on that in some ways than you do on even the high-powered liter plus bikes, that we have and fuck around with also. I mean, you're not going to do 180 miles an hour on this fucking thing. But
125 though you can do so far.
Yeah, and 125 will kill you just as much. So. Especially when it gets squirrely. But yeah, I mean, like I said, fucking different strokes, different folks.
Yeah, you guys know I picked this up and I rode it to your studio, old studio, 40 miles, something like that, 30 miles maybe.
I think you put about 90 miles total on it.
Yeah, so I rode it there. I think that was the day we all went to lunch with Clint.
Yeah, and then it started raining.
And then Clint was like, dude, I had mine up to this speed. And I'm like, no fucking way. So on the way home in the sprinkling fucking rain, I'm trying to get this bitch up as fast as Clint had his.
Yeah.
They're fun, but the scariest bike out of all the bikes we have in all of our shit, it's this motherfucker to me all day long.
Yeah. So if that makes a chick bike, well, I guess it's a chick bike.
Yeah. Bitches do scare me. You know what I'm saying? They get your bank account info.
That's right.
I still love the style of that bike. It looks modern yet somewhat kind of old school.
When did you hear this bike?
But huh?
No, he said he likes the look
style.
of it.
No,
I thought he said sound.
Yeah, no. I mean, I will say it sounds fucking mean.
It does.
Too,
we'll start it. The dentist loves it.
I don't think they're over there right now.
They're not. We can start it. Fuck them.
There's something called carbon monoxide poisoning. We are indoors.
Oh no, there's not enough. We'd have to leave it running for a long time.
Yeah, the AC's on. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Just you stay here. We're gonna head out real quick.
Yeah, we'll let you know when to turn it off. Well, that's it. We don't know if the cameras are working, but if they are, we'll see you guys next time. Hit us up on Patreon. All the other shit, y'all know what to do. Shit's in this channel.
Yeah, it's linked in the bio
and all that. Peace, bitches.
See you guys.
Peace.